as a mom, you know. All right, I'm going to let you have a wife a little bit longer. Or that you would see, well, you saw her down in the hospital before they transferred her.
When they first brought her in.
Now she was out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say that was maybe one of my scariest nights.
I'm sorry I wasn't there.
Hmm?
I'm sorry I wasn't there.
So was I. But in a way, it's probably better that you weren't.
Why?
Because I had to handle it.
Oh.
I'm sorry it took me extra 5 minutes to call a squad. I shouldn't have even been calling you. I should have just called a squad and that's it. But, you know how it goes.
Well, you did the best that you could. You did what you thought was right. And now you know for next time.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. I was probably having my own problem at the time and I didn't even know it.
Maybe.
You know, I got to tell you, I must have been having hallucinations when I was coming out of the hospital. So.
When you were still in the hospital?
When I was coming from Lakewood into here.
Oh, like during the transportation?
And I have no idea. I went to DeVita, had dialysis, and I swear to God, so help me. And Joe was running the machine at the end. And of course, she never has.
Right.
But just the same as I'm talking to you, I was talking to her. And I can see her flesh and everything out. I mean, it looked so real. And then there's two people from here. One of the guys, the maintenance guy, and the woman that's a maid here. They were in this sequence. I was visualizing me being at AT&T over on East 9th Street.
AT&T?
Yeah. A while ago. And where they have a counter in there, you go in, it's like a bank. They had a bed.
A bed?
A bed, and I was sleeping in it.
You were sleeping in a bed on East 9th Street?
Inside the lobby.
Wow. And that was like totally vivid for you?
And it seemed extremely real because these people were, I had no clothes. All I had was a bed sheet from the hospital. And I don't even remember where I got that. I got it from somebody in the hospital, you know. And I was down these numbers on the telephone, and that was as real as anything I've ever done. And this woman was as real, and this guy was real. And I had never seen them before until I came out here. And she got me straightened out in the room, and he worked with me. He gave me a shower on time, and brings me my lunch sometimes. But until then, I never saw him before.
Do you still see him?
Hmm?
Do you still see him?
I haven't heard of him now yet.
You don't see them anymore, do you? You don't see them anymore, do you?
Yeah, in person.
Oh, in person.
I don't see any other things. So it had to be the medication, I was thinking.
Huh. Maybe.
Really scary. You want to go ahead and text?
No. I went to the grocery store today
Yeah.
to get, well, I had to go twice. The first time I went, because Pam called me before I went to the school, and she asked me to buy coffee cream and for her. And when I was there, I think I saw Mr. Roski. I think.
Mr. Rusky?
I think.
He's a little hunched over there.
Yeah, he looks really, 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 really old. His eyes were all like watery, like old man, old wateriness. It had to have been him because it looked like somebody who used to be him.
I see him at the donut shop once in a while.
You do?
And he'll stop and talk to me. So he must have been missing me the last few weeks.
Was he sick or is he just getting old?
Huh?
Was he sick?
Was he sick?
Yeah, or is he just old?
Hard to tell because they don't admit anything.
Oh.
I know his wife's got a kidney problem.
Oh, she does?
And I would imagine he's been sick, but I don't think he'll admit it. They're kind of a funny family.
I haven't talked to Cindy in a while. She used to be on Facebook a lot, but I haven't seen her in a while.
She used to be on your Facebook?
Yeah, well, she's still there, but, you know, she hasn't logged on in a while.
Hmm.
She used to go on a couple times a day and update it. I haven't seen any updates from her in a good while. I haven't updated it myself lately either. Like, I still go on it and I still read it, but I haven't personally updated it, so people probably think that I'm not around.
I haven't seen Cindy since I was working out of Great Northern Lodge. I went down into the service area and she had her car in there for servicing one time.
Oh, yeah?
And when did I work at Great Northern Lodge?
Back when I was in college.
About 94, 95.
Yeah, I was say it was my freshman or sophomore year of college.
Hmm. Well, I worked 1 year at Ganley Honda. It was easy to sell a Honda. People would buy just by their name. But you would make $75 what you make on it. Easy, right? You'd have to sell 4 or 5 of those to make it what you sell in one Dodge. You sell one Dodge and you can make $300.
Really?
I sold a used Ford truck at Great Northern. Made $630 on it.
You made $600 on one car?
Yeah. And the guy went down to the service area and he was telling the guys how he ripped off the salesman. I said, boy, I hope there's 2 more customers come in and rip me off. Yeah, I really ripped off the salesman on this one. That was the guy that brought all his money in the bag, paper bag, cash. $17,000.
Wow.
And he wanted to give it to me, and I said, whoa, wait a minute. I went and got the manager. I said, hey, I got a guy who wants to buy a truck, $17,000, cash. I said, I'm not going to accept the responsibility of counting all that money. Okay, I'll come. We'll go down in the side office there. That's what we did. So there was him and his son. And I figured, he could take money out of one pile and put, his son would put it in the next pile, you know. I ended up paying $6,000 for the truck. I wasn't going to put up with that. So I had the manager count the money, and I watched, made sure they didn't take anything out. Yeah, that's when they hired, I think, 3 or 4 of us guys. And one by one, they let each one of us go, and decided to keep me. Me and the guy that used to sell radios, telephones for AT&T. They kept him. He was a good salesman, and he was a better salesman than I was. But there was 2 other guys that used to work for clothing salesmen. You know, they measure you up and sell you a suit and all that. And so they got rid of one almost right away because he was a little jittery. Yeah, I don't know what he was trying to do. So they got rid of him, and then they kept the other one. And the other guy looked good, but he didn't know shit. He'd come over to me and he said, well, how much are we allowed to have on this? You know, he'd ask me stuff like that. So eventually they caught up with him and they let him go. So they kept half of what they had in that class. Me and that telephone salesman. And I think they were thinking about getting rid of me. But then when I sold that truck, holy shit, man, this guy sold that truck, made $600.
He must be all right.
Mm. I didn't sell anything the first 2 or 3 days, and I think they were looking at me seriously to dump me. And then that guy looked at that truck. He was on a Friday night. He looked at that truck, and he said, well, I'll be back. Well, they all say that. Well, Saturday morning, about 10 o'clock, the manager got a phone call from him. And what we did, we ran an ad in the newspaper, a special on that truck. And he wanted to talk to me. He said, I told you I wanted that big one. He said, you better not sell it. He says, I want to buy it. And I shook him up. I said, well, there's somebody out there looking at it right now. I said, I can't stop them if they want to buy it. They're working on sales. God damn it, they better not buy it. He said, I'm coming out. He was out in about 15 minutes from 102nd or something all the way out to Great Northern. So he must have been doing like 70 miles an hour.
Down Lorraine.
Yeah. And then he wanted to take it for a test drive. He had his son with him. So he and his son was going to take it, and the manager said, no. You can't go unless, the salesman goes with you, and only one guy can go. I said, that's insurance rules. So he sent his son out, because I think he was crossed already. So he sent his son out, and his son said, yeah, shit's good, and the ride's well. And it's okay, Dad. His dad was down, he was looking underneath the leaks and everything else. And he said, well, we're going to buy it, so we're going to fiddle around like we came out here to do. So they came in, and that's when he brought that bag of money out. Oh, shit. I got crap all this stuff. I never saw that much money in my life.
It was in a big brown bag?
Big brown shopping bag. $17,000 stuff.
Like $20 bills?
And that's when I went and got the manager. That was my first sales.
That was your first sale?
And I made $600 on it.
I said, all right, I can keep this job.
Yeah, this business is going to be all right.
Yeah.
I think I made about $8,000 at first. I only worked 2 weeks, and I made $8,000. The old manager came around and he said, that's a pretty impressive start. And I said, you shouldn't be. That's a lot more money than I would have been making. But then that died off. That was in August. I sold pretty well in September and October, and then it started to go down. You know. And by December, I only sold a couple $1,000. In January and February were bad news. Nobody looks at the car and knows too much. But the salesmen have been selling for a long time. They have established accounts, you know.
Yeah.
So they have customers come out and buy them. So that's what my goal was, to get repeat customers. So I figured it was going to be pretty tough sledding for a year or two. But then after that, I'd get repeat customers coming back to buy their second car from me. But by then, they decided I wasn't selling enough cars. They wanted me to sell more cars. And I couldn't sell more cars. I figured I could sell more cars at Honda. I did, but they didn't tell me they were only paying me $75 a car. Man, when I would compare that to the $600 truck I sold, jeez. Yeah, my first month I worked at Honda, I sold something like 15 cars or something. I get this paycheck 75 times that. Holy crap.
You were thinking you were like rolling in money.
Yeah, and then they take the taxes out and the insurance and all that. I think I made about maybe $600.
Out of 15 cars?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know, after I took all that other stuff out, the insurance and all that stuff. So what the hell am I going to do with $600? I can't even make the mortgage payment. Mortgage payment's more than that. And doesn't do anything for the utilities or anything else. Car payment. Can't keep this job. So that's when I went over to Bob Evans.
They pay you the big bucks there.
Well, you can kind of count on what you're going to get. You know, you can figure you're going to get at least $200 a week. You know, and I couldn't. They would pay me more money, and I could make more money, but I wasn't allowed to make more money because I was getting disability. So if I made more money than disability allowed, then they would cut me off.
Yeah.
And I was making 2 times the amount of money on disability I could make working there at Bob Evans. So I didn't do that. When I got up to 20 hours, I cut it off because I'd been in a meeting over at the site center, and the guy said the Social Security allowed him to work 20 hours. So I figured if they allowed him, there's no reason they would not allow me. So they checked on me. After about a year, they sent me a questionnaire to fill out and everything else.
Through the disability people or the site center?
Social Security. Disability. So I filled it out and now I went to put in there. And I sent it in, and about 6 months later, he sent me a letter that your disability continues. So I don't know what if it had discontinued, if I'd had to pay back all that money.
Oh, whoa, I wouldn't think of that.
But what they do is they compare what you're doing to what your previous job was. My previous job was a manager, and I had all those responsibilities, and I had none of that stuff. Now, I clean tables. I'm getting hiccups now.
Yikes.
I hate it when it happens.